Good morning, dear students. I am Nilanbar Kormukar, your SST teacher. Today I am going to teach Class 7 History, Lesson 5, Rulers and Buildings. It is the second lecture of this chapter. Dear students, two technological and stylistic developments are noticeable from 12th century. First of all, the weight of the superstructure above the doors and windows was carried by arches. This architectural form was called arcuate. It is a image of true arch. The keystone at the center of the arch transferred the weight of the superstructure to the base of the arch. This image of Alai Darwaja from Quat al-Islam Mosque, Delhi, which was built in early 14th century. It is the example of true arch. The second technological and stylistic development was the increasing use of limestone cement. Limestone cement mixed with the stone chip hardened into concrete and thus made the construction of large structures easier and faster. Student, this is a painting. It is collected from Akbarnama from 1590 to 1595. It shows the construction of the water gate at the Agra fort. Children, during the medieval period, rulers constructed lots of temples and mosques. These were beautifully built as they were the places of worship as well as the places of demonstration of the power, wealth, and devotion of the ruler. Now it is an example of the temple. The Rajarajaswara temple was built by Raja Raja Deva. Students, you know, this temple at Tanjavur had the tallest shikhar amongst temples of its time. You notice here the name of the ruler and the god are very similar. The king adapted the god's name because it was auspicious and he wanted to appear like a god. Students, through the rituals of worship in the temple, one god honored the another god. Here, one god, Raja Raja Deva, and he honored the another god, Raja Rajeswaram. The ruler wanted to establish as a god himself. In that times, the largest temples were built by the kings. The other lesser deities in the temple were gods and goddesses of kings' subordinates. The temple was a miniature model of the world ruled by the king and his allies. As they worshipped their deities together in the royal temples, it seemed as if they brought the just rule of the gods on the earth. Students, the Hindu rulers wanted to establish himself as the representative of God, but the Muslim rulers did not claim to be incarnations of God. They ignore to represent as God themselves. They were described as the shadow of God. An inscription in the Quat al-Islam Mosque explained that God chose Alauddin as a king for his qualities of Moses and Solomon, the lawgivers of the past. The greatest lawgiver and architect was God Himself. As the greatest lawgiver and architect, the God who created the world and introduced order and symmetry. Students, in this way, the kings of every new dynasty wanted to emphasize their moral right to be rulers. By building places of worship, they could proclaim their close relationship with God. Rulers also tried to make their capitals and cities as cultural centers. For that, they offered patronage to the land and feasts that brought fame to their rule and realm. Students, it means the king announced himself as the representative of God, and they declared that they had the relationship with God. The rule of a just king meant an age of plenty when heavens would not withhold rain. It means there have no any chance to scarcity of rain due to the ruler have the power to hold the rain. At that time, constructing tanks and reservoirs was highly praised. Iltutmish constructed a large reservoir outside Delhi-e-Khuna called Hawj-e-Sultani or the King's Reservoir. It is an example of reservoir. Rulers constructed tanks and reservoirs for use by ordinary people for their various purposes. Sometimes these tanks and reservoirs were part of a temple mosque, such as the small tank in the Jami Masjid. The tank Sarovar, surrounded by Golden Temple, is an example of an tank. Thank you, dear students. I will discuss the next part of this chapter through my next video. Have a nice day.